This is Dr. Gregory Jenkins sitting here with Dr. Judith Curts. This is the Doc and Doc show at the KHTS. Our phone number is 661-298-5487. We're broadcasting from downtown historic Newhall. So if you have any questions, please call us on 298-5487. We're going to continue rambling on and talking about medical issues and therapy issues, and you're all welcome to call us or email us. We're still looking through some of the emails. They went to kind of a dump file temporarily, and they're trying to retrieve them, so we'll do those later this show or next week.
So if you've sent us an email, thank you so very much. We want you to do that, and we're not ignoring you, so don't think we're rejecting your emails. We just haven't accessed them yet. So there's an issue with a technical issue, I suppose. So we will get them next week. So please, keep them coming, or maybe send them again, because we really want to respond to you. And you can also send them to the, wait a minute, our wonderful technical guy, to AM 1220 KHTS Facebook, on the Facebook station. You can send that. He's trying to tell me I'm thank you. We're all working together here.
But yeah, you can send those over to the Facebook if you have any questions. And I've been talking to the technicians here just in the break, and we're going to start advertising our show there and sending out social media so that people call. Now I'm going to go back a little bit in our show today and talk about some of the dangerous things that happen when you're out and about and alcohol comes into a relationship.
Good.
This week, and today's only Wednesday, right?
Today's Wednesday.
I've had two gonorrhea cases this week.
Oh.
And it's so I said, man, I haven't seen that 2 in 1 week in a long time. So things must be heating up out there, so to speak, you know.
That's what I said. When summer comes and people wear less clothing, people have affairs, there's more, I don't know. But I and I don't mean to make light of that, because can you just imagine the next day coming into the doctor's office and finding out you have gonorrhea? I mean, but you can treat it, right?
Well, yeah, you should get treated when you're there. You usually get a shot of medicine that takes care of it. But but then it gets even more ugly, because every positive culture. So we take a culture of the discharge, we send it to the lab. The lab tells us it's gonorrhea, and then they turn that information over to the health department. The health department tracks you down. Oh. Hey, is this Bob? Yeah, this is Bob. Well, you have gonorrhea. I said, oh, I know. The doctor gave me medicine, but what medicine did he give you? And they asked a lot of personal impressions. Who did you sleep with? Because they're trying to get everybody treated. It's the public health department that does it. So, so it gets to be impersonal when you start getting these phone calls from the government.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I do remember another patient that I had that had a terrible reaction. She and a bunch of friends went to a male stripper show for engagement party and things like that. So this married woman slept with one of the dancers, and she gets an infection. So she comes into the office, and we do the exam and do the cultures and checked it, and she has an infection. We have to give her an injection. So which woman had the allergic reaction to the medicine? Which doctor had to call her husband and say, can you come down and pick her up at the office? Me.
Oh, no.
So, and she's in this particular type of medicine, they have allergic reactions, and they start screaming, and she's telling, I didn't do it, it's not my fault, and then she's screaming and trying to get her to calm down. And I call the husband and said, what kind of reaction did she have? The husband said, well, she had allergic reactions to the medicine. And he said, well, what kind of infection did she have? Well, I think you should probably talk to your wife about that. Can you come pick her up?
Well, that's when you refer them to Dr. Curts.
That's right. I'm sure. If I'd known you then. Yeah.
I know.
So it gets to be complicated out there listening people,
It is. And we're really, I really think that we're pretty liberal people, and hey, to be a sex therapist for so long you have to be, and to be a doctor, we're liberal people who want people to have great times and any way you want to, but to be safe. That's the whole idea of this show, is to keep you safe and healthy and smart. And alcohol does get in the way. I mean, everybody likes to have a drink, or some people do in the evening, but then sometimes you start making some really bad decisions. Can you get through them sometimes? Sure. And I've had patients in my office who have come, and the men have gone to, and women do this too, but I'd say the majority is men. They'll go to Las Vegas, so they'll go somewhere on a convention, and they'll sleep with a sex worker, someone they have hired, and then they come to me because they struggle with the guilt and they want to tell their wife or their partner. And what would Dr. Curts say? What do you think? You might be surprised.
Don't do that again. Is that what you said?
Yeah, well,
Probably not.
I generally suggest that they don't tell. If this was a one-time, get checked out, if this was a one-time, got drunk and stupid, because telling the spouse wants to put that on her and let her suffer too. And if it's not an affair and you're not going to go back with this person, why put that on your spouse? You did something, it's yours to live with from now on. And, I think sometimes it's easier in a relationship. What do you think about that?
I think that particular instance is really a lot worse for the radio people. Do people have radio conventions in Las Vegas?
Oh, really?
Just kidding. I know none of you have
Dr.
done
Jenkins is on today. He's on
that.
today.
I've never done that. I've never done that on a radio station before. But I think that, I'm the opposite. I think you should fess up and say I did it and apologize and get tested and get through it.
Well, you have to be responsible. You have to get tested, definitely. Make sure you're okay before you... But, I'm just thinking, why put that on somebody if you're not going to do it again, if you were drunk and stupid, but to take care of yourself? So we may disagree on that, which I think is very cool. I mean, we don't disagree like we're going to fight, but I think, with two doctors, you have different opinions, and generally you do have to check with each couple. I don't have a one-size-fits-all advice for anybody, and you know what? I don't give advice, really. We just kind of work through what's going on and figure out what's best for the couple, what's best for the relationship. And,
well, I think we should get a second opinion. Somebody will come and break the tie. Yeah.
What do you all think? We have two guys in here who are just wonderful.
They're shaking their head.
Bright, and what do you think?
Man, that's tough. I don't want to be the kind of person that advocates cheating.
That's not advocating cheating. That was stupidity. What do you think, Justin?
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem fair that someone should get away with something like that, but I don't want to hurt the spouse like as you said, Dr. Curts. So, I guess I got to side with Dr. Curts, Dr. Jenkins.
Okay. I guess that's one of our
In
second opinions.
only in that example, though.
But it's not getting away with cheating, because when they come to me because there is so much guilt, they can't even have erections and have sex with their wife.
Well, there you go.
So we work on the guilt and say, look, it's yours to live with. That's your mistake to live with.
I understand that completely. Okay.
So, but isn't that fun? Cody, you want to come in on that, or what do you think? Cody's here with us, too.
Shoot, I guess for the most part, I'd probably agree with Dr. Jenkins a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like if you're honest with people about kind of everything, it makes it a lot easier in the end. Once you start lying about, one bad affair or one mess-up, it's easier to lie about another one. That's kind of how I feel.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
See, now it's
That's a
those
good point,
So
Cody.
we're 2 for
That's a
2
good point.
now.
It's tied. We're all tied. Out
Two
of 4
for
people,
two.
2 for 2.
Well, how
Run
much
outside
did you
now?
pay, Cody?
Start taking polls.
Yeah, we're going to get the people
on the
in
website,
New
we'll have a poll. Yeah.
Yeah.
You vote it. You can like it or not like it.
Well, sometimes I'm a little bizarre in some things, but that's okay. I've been doing this a while, and you've been doing this a while, so we have the right to be a little bizarre.
We've seen different things in our life, so we're going to have different opinions.
Yeah.
It's good to have different opinions. You're supposed to.
That's right.
You guys are on a show together.
I I know.
Can't always agree.
The Doc and Doc show.
Yeah, you can't always agree.
We have different opinions,
You could change it to the Doc disagrees with the Doc show.
or agrees with the Doc. I think it's great. And what do you all think? That's what we want. We want your opinion. Believe me, we aren't getting big bucks for this. We've done well in our professions over time, and this is kind of giving back to the community and just making sure that you're safe and that you're healthy and that you're having a good time and you're not walking around. And I talk about, to some people, walking around with a backpack filled with rocks. And you're miserable, and it's so hard to walk around in that backpack, and you're complaining and you're saying, "Oh, Doc, my back is killing me. What do I do?" What do you do?
Get rid of the bag of rocks.
Drop the rocks. Exactly.
Right.
Drop the rocks. You get rid of that stuff. You can do it in therapy. You can do it all kinds of places, but it's going to make you feel better. I hate to see people walking around with that backpack filled with rocks, and when they come to see me, sometimes it's heavy, and there are physical what's the word?
Manifestations.
Manifestations. Thank you very much. There are physical manifestations that go along with it. If you're feeling something emotional, people will come into me and say, "Well, here, I can't sleep, or I have this sleeping disorder, I've got a pain here." And, "Well, did you go to the doctor?" "Yeah, but they told me there's nothing wrong." Well, drop the rocks.
I like that. Back to the bar scene, and for men, I don't know if it's true for women, but alcohol ruins performance. So you can have some alcohol, and you find somebody to go out with that night, and you go there, and guess what? It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Okay.
So, but that was because the alcohol, it kills off the nerves. So alcoholics never have erections once they get older, but sometimes you're out and you have too much to drink and penis doesn't work.
But alcoholics that are in recovery, they can get it back, right?
That's right.
Oh, good. There's hope out there, folks.
The nerves
Go to AA.
The nerves have to regenerate.
Yeah, but they can, so it's not hopeless.
Yeah, I used to work at, before I came up here, I worked at the UCLA Pain Clinic. And about half of our patients were patients who had chronic pain. And guess what we used to kill the nerve?
What?
We would give injections of alcohol in the nerve, and that would kill the nerve so that they never would have pain again.
Oh.
So that's the same thing happens when you have with your sex organs, is that when you have too much alcohol, it damages the nerves and things don't work right.
You said one thing that, get my soapbox. Dun, 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 dun. The one that you use the word, and everybody uses it, and it's a correct word, but it just bugs me. Performance. It's like a man has to perform. And I think even that has to weigh heavy. That's another rock to carry around. Maybe it can be a couple thing, and you don't have to feel that you have to perform. But that's commonly used, all the time in my performance. Well, you're not on a stage. I mean, you could be, that's your thing. But, performance, I think, puts a lot of pressure on men. We don't say that to women about their performance. They're generally the submissive, the acceptance. But, I like to talk to people more about being a couple and taking the pressure off each one. And you know what? If it doesn't happen that night for some reason, or that afternoon or morning, so what? I mean, so what? You talk about it. There are lots of ways to satisfy each other without having an erection. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
I am.
Let me think about this just a second here. So what you're suggesting, Doctor,
Yes.
is that if you're not ready to have sex, you shouldn't have sex. Is that what you said?
What do you mean not ready? Emotionally?
No,
or
physically.
Oh, if the male does not have an erection?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, you definitely have sex if he doesn't have an erection. So what? So what? Well,
Okay.
no, you can still please your partner in very many different ways. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So you can please the partner in many other ways. It doesn't have to be right then. It could be the next afternoon, you're saying, or the next morning, or the next
It could
anytime.
be then, or the next morning, or anytime.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be then. There are different ways to please women other than having an erection.
I can understand that. Definitely understand that.
I know you can understand that.
Right.
You went to medical school.
Yeah, I went to medical school.
You know that. So, anyway, there are lots of ways, and we can talk about that. I just like to take the pressure off the male. I mean, it's wonderful to have the erection and to have all that, but then you look at who I hope we talk next week with the urologist about prostate cancer.
That's right. We're going to talk about prostate cancer next week, kidney disease, bladder discomfort, bladder problems, all in the short hour that we have here.
So get your questions ready, because I think that is going to be so interesting. I'm going to have a lot of questions for the doctor. I think, I get a lot of referrals from urologists. And, one we didn't mention, there's a gynecologist who will be joining us. She wants to come in August because she is going to have a baby, Dr. Palchier. And she's right here in Santa Clarita and does some very interesting things. And I spoke to her yesterday, and she said she would love to be on the show. So she will be just great information on surgeries for women, the O shot also, and the G shot and the P shot. I don't think she does the P shot.
No, she doesn't.
No, she's an OBGYN.
That's right. But the other doctor is going to come can do those also.
I can't wait.
But the other thing I was thinking about is just painful intercourse. Dyspareunia. It's called dyspareunia.
Yes.
And painful intercourse for women, sometimes is physical, whether you actually have something wrong, some infection or some irritation, or it's psychological. When in your practice you see more stressed out painful sex or medical painful sex?
Well, they present with medical painful sex, but then when we talk about it for a while, it's really the stressed out painful sex. So that is, once we can diagnose that, it's pretty easy to get through it, to find out what's going on and to work with the couple or to work with the individual. And many times women don't know themselves, and they expect their partner to be magical and know everything about them. And you got to talk. They can't read your mind. So you've got to be able to communicate and tell your partner.
I think that's good advice. So maybe there should be more communications before intercourse.
You know what? And haven't we heard that for years? Communication is key. And yet people are still not doing it. When we say the word communication, does everybody just go deaf? I don't know, because that's Justin saying, yeah, they do. But you've got to do that. I know it's difficult. It gets awkward for couples who have been married for a long time to talk to each other about sex. And that's where I can come in, or a board-certified sex therapist can come in, because we'll help you talk about it, and you will be amazed at the things that come out of your mouth that you have kept inside for so long. And it's safe, and it feels like, yeah, you've dropped the rocks. So you're listening to the Doc and Doc Show here on KHTS 22, your hometown station. I'm sorry. 1220. My mistake. I'm the new girl in town. Forgive me. So, anyway, we hope to hear from you. 661-298-5487.
This is Dr. Gregory Jenkins with Dr. Judith Curts. We're here at the Doc and Doc Show in downtown Newhall. We're at KHTS AM 1220. Our phone number here is 298-5487. So if you have any questions, medical, sexuals, therapy, just call us. And I know I was talking to Dr. Curts during the break there, and she has a question for us.
I have a question. Yes, I do. And I think it's maybe just curiosity, or maybe it's information for everyone out there. I want to know, you were talking about seeing 2 cases of gonorrhea this week, which is, I'm so sad for that, but what is the most common that you see sexually transmitted infection? And now we're calling them STIs, right, instead of STDs.
Mm-hmm.
We always used to say STDs, but I think the politically correct name is STI, sexually transmitted infection. So what are you seeing more?
Well, let's go backwards. It's the one things we see least amount is syphilis. Syphilis is really a disease only of the gay population mostly. And it's backwards from that, then you're going to have gonorrhea is more another third thing. But the most common one is chlamydia. Chlamydia, the man has it, he has a little bit of itchy thing, and he's done. Now, we also have herpes, which is more of a nuisance disease now than anything. But with chlamydia, the woman carries it, and same with gonorrhea, the woman carries it, and they don't know they really have it. So now when we do physical exams on women, and we do pap smears and pelvic exams, we culture for that. And the American Academy of Pediatrics, recommends that every pap smear is cultured of a childbearing age. So that's a long time. It's a long time. And sometimes they don't really know that they have an infection until they get their routine pap smear, and guess what shows up? So so that's the chlamydia is the more common thing.
That's the number one, isn't it?
Number one type of infection I see.
Florida used to be number one in syphilis, I think. Just because I used to live in Florida, so I knew that. And didn't Al Capone die of syphilis?
Yes,
Yeah.
also Idi Amin.
Did he?
The African
Idi Amin.
dictator. Yeah, he had syphilis, and that it drives you crazy. It makes you eventually gets to your brain. It makes you go crazy.
And blind, doesn't it?
And blind, yeah.
Oh.
And they did those terrible testing on black men in Georgia.
Yes.
And they gave them syphilis, but they wouldn't treat them. And so they would learn more about it. So I can't remember what that was called. Do you remember? I can't remember what that was called.
I remember the
Yeah, it was in
test.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
So we see that, and so you have to just screen for it and hope it comes up negative.
Everybody's going to have so much fun going out for a drink tonight, right? Nobody's going to, and leaving your drink somewhere. What is it, the roofie?
The roofies, yeah. Sometimes people call it the Bill Cosby now.
Do
I got Cosby'd. Yeah.
Do you see that? Anybody coming in who's gotten the roofie? I didn't know.
I've talked to people who said that happened to them, but I've never had a patient that I've talked to some people. I got roofied at someplace wherever they were.
They do that in Ecuador a lot. I've been reading a lot about Ecuador. Don't ask me why. I'm just reading a lot about Ecuador. And that's one of the things. I've forgotten the name of the drug, but they say never to leave your drink or people will run into you. And it's pretty rampant there. And you think you've spilled a drink and they slip something in, and then take your stuff, your iPad. But they were saying how healthy and what a wonderful place Ecuador is, but you have to, except for somebody putting something in your drink.
Right. Do you remember that movie that was out 5-10 years ago where I think it was called The Tourist, and these kids would show up on a beach and they eventually go to some place to go into a special lake, and then they get kidnapped and then they turn into organ donors. Do you remember that?
Ooh.
Yeah. And they did it real crudely. So they kind of put you semi-drowsy asleep. They cut out your kidneys one at a time, cut out your liver, and that was kind of a scary thing. So I'm not going to Ecuador then.
Okay, well, it's supposed to be wonderful.
Yeah.
I have a great idea. I have the answer to this at bars, people putting something in your drink. Sippy cups.
That's
need
great.
sippy cups at bars, and that way everybody will have their drink and it'll be safe, and you've got your key to your sippy cup, and you bring your own sippy cup in. So, do you like that?
I think it's brilliant, but
Thank you. That's why I'm here on the show, for
That's
the
right.
brilliance.
That's brilliant. But I think that sometimes people get up and they put a little napkin across the top of their drink. I'm thinking if really somebody wants to put something in there, they're going to just lift the napkin up and.
That's to keep the bugs out.
I know it's to
of
keep
the red
keep
wine.
the roofies out is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will keep the bugs out, but it will not keep the roofies out. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. The bars are going to be closing early tonight
Yeah.
after this.
Well, next week we're going to have some fun again, so I hope all of you come back. We're going to have the board-certified urologist here, and he's going to discuss anything you want to talk about. So please email us or call the station and talk to us, and we will prepare the show so that we could have all the things we needed for the next show. And I think that if you have any questions, you can call Dr. Curts at her office or myself at my office.
Happy to talk to you.
And we'll try to help you as much as we can. But I think that we have about a minute left on the show, so all we can really say much is that this is KHTS AM 1220, the hometown station in downtown Newhall. Please give us a call or go on our email us, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks.
And Facebook on your hometown station.